Hello, everyone. This is Nolan from Straight Talk with Nolan. Now, I'm sure you're just wondering what's all that in the background? Wow, look at the beauty of it. It's actually clouds. I'm above the clouds. And I'll just give you a quick peek into what I'm actually doing here as well, because it has a lot to do with purpose. Because people are asking me, Nolan, how did you find purpose? And what are you doing to live a purposeful life? So those clouds that you see at the back is at a hut called Horombo Hut, which is on my way to Mount Kilimanjaro. Yes, I'm going to be summiting this mountain on Friday morning together with my team, and this is where my purpose comes into play. So the challenge and the project is called Climb for the Deaf. Now, Climb for the Deaf was born in 2019 when I started connecting with the deaf people, and I had 3 deaf people speak at the launch of my company, Straight Talk with Nolan. Ever since then, I got close to them, I started working with them, and I realized, but are we doing enough for communities with disabilities? And I realized, no, we're really not doing enough, right? So I looked at the values that I grew up with, and the one value that sticks out for me is humanity. And this sticks out for me because I come from a poverty background. Nothing was ever easy at all. But here I am today, right? Grown into an adult that's making a difference in the world. So what I did was, when I was looking for my purpose, I went back to my childhood and I evaluated all the values that I grew up with, and I saw what was closely linked to me, and humanity stood out for me. And that is why I'm doing a project like this called Climb for the Deaf. Now, our vision at Climb for the Deaf is very simple. We would like to give the gift of hearing to a child by means of cochlear implants or hearing aids. Now imagine this for a second. Imagine a child born deaf. He gets bullied, right? Because he has a disability, and that would go with any other disability as well. So when this child feels bullied, he feels lost. More so when he gets home, sometimes some parents don't want to learn how to sign. So furthermore, this child feels isolated at home, and this is how we get these mental wellness issues, etc., because there's nobody caring for humans the way they should be doing. And when I looked at all of this, I said, well, what are we going to do about this? What can we do about this? And that's when we started to say, okay, let's look at ways. And one of the ways was we took action. We created a non-profit foundation called Be the Best Version of Yourself. And this foundation is all about helping any community with disabilities and also various other struggles that they go through. So this is our first climb. We are going to be climbing Mount Kilimanjaro and summiting on Friday. And like I said, the first one is to give the gift of hearing to a child via cochlear implants or hearing aids. The second part of it is we're going to have workshops. And the workshops are called Bridging the Gap workshops. Now, what do I mean by this? Very simple. A lot of the hearing people don't know how to communicate with the deaf people. And I boldly say this, they don't know how to communicate. The reason why I say this is, it's not that they don't know how to. It's not that they don't know. It's not that they don't want to communicate with the deaf people. It's that they don't know how to communicate with the deaf people. And this is where we come into play, because we'll have workshops, etc., where we get the hearing people in, we get the deaf people in, and we start bridging this gap. That's the second part of the project, or the projects that we run at Be the Best Version of Yourself. Further to this, we know that there's a lot of youth that are struggling. And when I say struggling, I mean struggling in a really good sense. Now, if you look at the politicians or political situations throughout the world, a lot of the times, and I see this in my country, South Africa, if a politician says to do this, the youth do not just think for themselves. They will ask the politician, how high should I jump? So what we plan to do at the foundation is to help the youth to become better thinkers, become creative thinkers, become innovative thinkers. And this is really special to us because When we start teaching the youth how to think better, they start acting better, and they would not be burning down libraries that they are meant to use the next day. So these are some of the projects that we plan to do at Be the Best Version of Yourself. But coming back to Climb for the Deaf, we're on the summit today. It's our day 3 of the summit. Tomorrow morning we leave to Kibo Hut. And the beauty part about this project is there's 7 of us in total. 5 of them are deaf. Yes, 5 of them are deaf. So going back to my purpose, when I realized what my purpose is and that the purpose of humanity, I had to do things. So in getting actually here, we started up the foundation, we had to take action, we had to learn sign language, we had to speak to sponsors. And while I'm talking about sponsors, I'll be blatantly honest with you. The sponsorship has not been great at all. Every sponsorship that, or not every, most of the companies that we approach, it seems like they don't support disabilities. And this is my honest opinion, and I'm not afraid to say it. They don't like to support communities with a disability. And this is really sad for me, because these are the people that need the help. These are the people that we should go out to and start helping them. Because imagine if you give the gift of hearing to a child and allow that child to live a normal life. Think about it, right? It makes a massive difference to that child's life. So this is why we're actually doing what we're doing today. And you know, I spoke about the clouds. This is such a beautiful, it's now what, close to, I think it's close to about 3 p.m. Tanzanian time. And the weather is really great. We're grateful, we're blessed that it's not as cold as it normally is. But I know once we get up to Kilimanjaro, to Uhuru Peak, which is on that end, let me show you what it looks like. Yes, it's right there. Can you see the white blanket of that's covering the mountain? That's beautiful, right? So that's where we plan to go up. And I know it gets cold. Sometimes it gets up to minus 15 degrees. So we had to do a lot of preparation, training ourselves mentally as well. For me, I know I'm going to summit it. I did summit the mountain in 2019. And again, I had a different purpose then. And my purpose back then was to give the gift of hearing, sorry, not give the gift of hearing, was to allow girls in rural areas to have access to sanitary pads, something that's a major problem in Africa. So we were climbing the mountain to raise funds for them. So going back to purpose, imagine if every single one of us took some initiative towards living a purposeful life. How beautiful would that be? And I'd like to end by just saying this, right? If you don't know how to live a purposeful life, if you are struggling to add some value to other people's lives, I would strongly suggest get in touch with me. Look for nolanpillay360.com. I repeat, nolanpillay360.com. Get in touch with me. Let's have a conversation, and I can guide you on the steps I took to find my purpose and start living this purposeful life. Before I shut down, my background is actually IT. I'm a certified SAP consultant, and I've done that for about 26 years of my life. But along the journey of my life as well, I went through some inhumane behavior in the corporate. And although I went through this inhumane behavior, I didn't see it as a negative. I saw it as a motivating factor that allowed me to get out of the corporate world and start living a purposeful life. So you see, there's a beauty in everything if you only decide to see the beauty in it. I could have easily played the victim mindset or the self-pity mindset and say, wow, this is what corporate is all about. But anyway, I was really shocked that in 2019, we still have inhumane behavior, racist behavior in major corporates in South Africa, to be honest. And that saddened me. But I refused to play the victim mindset or the self-pity mindset, and I did something about it. And that something was to get out from there, still do what I love, which is living a purposeful life, and still do a bit of IT work whenever there is a need as well. So get in touch with me. It's nolanpillay360.com, and let me guide you on how you can find your purpose and how you can get to a point where you can see magical views like this. Those are all clouds, and I'm above the clouds. The only time I remember being above the cloud was in a plane. But now I've walked all this distance and I get to be above the clouds. That, my friends, is absolutely the beauty of life. So take care, and we'll definitely chat soon. Cheers for now.